Victor, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on NBA Today.
Hi, Malika. Thanks for having me.
We're really excited to have you. And before we get into it, I understand there's something that you would like to share with us here today.
Yeah, it's been a year with so many great news for me. So first of all, I want to thank everyone that has been part of that journey, that year and all the previous years, all my coaches, my family. And I'm really excited to announce that I'm going to declare to the 2023 NBA draft. So I hope it's big news. Obviously, it's big news for me. I hope it's big news for you.
It is. Congratulations. I mean, Victor, it's real now. I know that we probably many people thought, oh, well, Victor, the #1 pick, could he be there in the draft? But now it is official. It's real. You've been getting so much attention. Your game has been getting so much attention. But I'm curious, at what point in your life, in your journey, did you realize that playing in the NBA, it would actually be a reality for you?
Declaring for the draft, after all, it was just me sending a letter to the NBA, but it's something crazy I'm not realizing yet. I realized pretty young I wanted to play in the NBA, but it becomes a reality more and more every day, and I just feel so lucky to have those dreams at the reach of my hand, and it's just I'm gonna take every opportunity I can.
Let's talk a little bit about that reach, and I mean literally, because scouts often say that one thing that makes you very unique is that every single time we see you, you show us something that has literally never been done before, that we've never seen before. And there's two moments recently that had everyone in the basketball world talking that I'm hoping you can walk us through. And I want to start offensively, because there is this step back to a put back that I still don't even understand the physics of this. Can you walk us through how this happened?
The first thing I can tell you is I would rather score that step back three than miss it. But what's funny about it is 2 years ago, two of my teammates they actually had a bet on whether I would do that at some point in my career or not. And a couple of days after the game, I called them and I told them, yeah, it happened. That crazy play happened. So yeah, even for me, that was crazy, to see and to rewatch that afterwards. It was a really intense game. So I just went for my rebound and I just happened to dunk it. I just happened to have arms long enough and jump high enough to dunk it.
It's that reach. It's that reach that we've talked about.
Exactly.
It was incredible. And then defensively, there's this play where somehow you manage, when it's a 2-on-1 and a breakaway, in a fast break, how did you manage to guard both players and rotate your body like this?
I know, guys, every game it happens every week, they try to dunk on me. So I kind of expected that they would try to do something like this. So I just went. It was a tough play. It was the first time for me doing that, and I'm very glad that I could do it without fouling.
It was impressive. It was an impressive play from you. I also want to point out to our audience, you've played, right, in all 47 of your 47 games this season since September. You already have 5 more regular season games, and then you have the playoffs. No, by the way, you just entered the NBA draft, so you have a whole lot on your plate. But something that we talk a lot about in the NBA is players missing more games than ever, and not just when they're hurt, but right to preserve themselves for the playoffs. What's your stance on that? Because you value being available.
I know there's so many games in the NBA season that it's hard for players, especially players who play with a lot of intensity and who play a lot of minutes. Obviously, it's hard to play all 82 games, but I just think some players are built a certain way. Like others gotta rest sometimes, but it's obviously my game. My goal is always going to be to play the most games I can and help my team as much as I can. But
For you, though, I mean, the fact that you're talking about how certain players are built that way, how you value being available for your team, how does that speak to your durability? Because that's a question that's come up from scouts during this process, and you've worked so hard on that specific part.
Yeah. Being a leader, it's always hard to be on the side and to not be able to play, or just to be resting when you see all your teammates working. So it's always going to be my priority to be available for my guys and for my teammates, to help them as much as I can. So every time if I have to step on the side, it's always going to be painful. But I've been working more than ever this year on my body and with my with my personal trainer Guillaume. So I know I'm ready to go over all sorts of obstacles. And so far it's worked pretty well. I haven't missed a game yet. I was here for my guys so far for every game, so I'm just trying to keep it that way.
On May 16th, Victor, at the draft lottery, we're going to find out the order of the NBA draft and which team is most likely going to pick you. And you've said before, right, that there's no wrong team for you. Do you still feel that way?
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. The NBA, there's a very, very few players actually in the NBA, like around 350 or 400. So every team I know every organization is so careful about their players that there's no wrong destination.
Yeah. Victor, I'll leave you with this. When we came into this interview today, I saw you smiling, right, as you heard LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo and Steph Curry call you a generational player. The league has to watch out. The league needs to be put on notice. That's 9 MVPs talking about you coming into this league and being a potential face of that. How does that make you feel?
I like to see guys that I love so much, and that I appreciate so much, to see them talk about me like that. Of course, I like it, but I don't let it go to my head. It's like I try to keep it. I'm trying to stay humble and focused on my goals. But it's guys I appreciate, so of course it warms my heart.
The top of the lottery odds, they look a little something like this. The top 3 teams, Houston, San Antonio, Detroit, they have the same odds. And then the next 2 teams hold better than a 10% chance at the top pick. And the NBA Draft Lottery is May 16th at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. So you just saw the lottery odds. But which team do you want to see get the top spot and have the opportunity to arguably draft the best prospect since LeBron James? That's today's QR question. So, Perk, get your phone out. Scan it.
No.
I want to know what everyone at home has to say. Victor says that he feels like any place is a great place for him, but I want to know what you all at home think. Scan it with your phones and let us know. We will reveal the results at the end of the show. But now we welcome in our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. And Woj, when we started the day, we had 2 lottery teams that had coaching vacancies in the Rockets and the Pistons. And now we have 3 coaching vacancies in the NBA. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, Malika, Nick Nurse is out in Toronto, helped the Raptors win that championship in 2019, a coach of the year a season after that. But he spent the week with Masai Ujiri, the Raptors president, talking about the past season, about the future, about how they might move forward together. I think ultimately both sides felt they were ready to part ways. And now Nick Nurse goes right to the top of the list in Houston in their coaching search, along with Frank Vogel, Ime Udoka, who've already interviewed for the Rockets job. Nurse had a year left on his contract, but certainly he'll be in demand. Almost a 600 winning percentage in his 5 years as head coach with the Raptors. And Ime Udoka, I'm told, will be a prominent candidate with the Raptors. You mentioned the Pistons. That's the 3rd team here. Charles Lee from the Milwaukee Bucks. He is a prominent figure in this search. Kevin Ollie, the former Connecticut coach, who's been with the overtime elite the last few years, respected NBA player, was involved with head coaching jobs in the NBA while he was a college coach. He's interviewed. I think they're still beginning that process in Detroit, but both Detroit and Houston, as you just showed, Malika, the best odds, among the best odds at 14%. To be able to draft Victor Wembanyama. I think both Houston and Detroit would like to have their coaching searches potentially wrapped up by the time we have a draft lottery. But I think Houston right now, I think you look at 3 candidates as they start a 2nd round. Nick Nurse joining the process, and then, of course, Frank Vogel, Ime Udoka.
Nick Nurse out after 5 years with the Toronto Raptors. Woj, before we let you go, I do want to get a couple of injury updates from you because we saw Ja and Giannis. They both missed Game 2. What can we expect for Game 3 here?
Giannis Antetokounmpo did some work today with the Bucks, didn't practice with the team. He gets a few more days of rest for that back ahead of Game 4. Same with John Morant. They won Game 2 in Memphis without him. Now they head out to L.A. to play Saturday. He gets more time to rest that bruised hand, wrist area. I think the more complicated situation now, Malika, is Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers. The team is going to see how he responds to treatment today, but I think there's much more uncertainty with that right knee injury about whether he can play in Game 4 or he could play again at all in this series. It is not related to that ACL injury that kept him out of full season, this injury, but it is the right knee, and I think it's a much murkier situation right now with Kawhi Leonard, especially given the Clippers are up against the clock right now. They are down 2-1. They've got a quick turnaround for Game 4 at home against the Suns.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.